What's up, what's up, what's up? It's your man Chaz Ellis once again answering the questions that you asked me. Make sure you go to the askchazzellisproject.com, get a consultation, quick question, or just make a donation to help us keep going. Also, make sure you check out the new live stream. It's part 3 of the Having Game series, and it's going to be called Knowing When to Move On. Basically, it's telling you when to cut your losses and move on to something different. And that's one of the biggest parts of having game is understanding when it's over and to mount a new attack on a different situation. Check that out. It's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time next Sunday night. Also, make sure you check out Ask Chazzellis on Facebook. I got all kinds of things that I post on there, questions that I send to you guys, videos, quotes, all kinds of stuff. Make sure you check out Ask Chazzellis on Facebook. Anyway, the question that I got was basically coming from some videos that I did about reasons why men cheat, reasons why women cheat, and basically it was saying what are some of the signs that someone's going to cheat on you before they actually do it. Before you've invested so much time, before you put yourself out there like that, what are some of the signs that someone will cheat? So these are 5 signs that your man will cheat. The number 1 sign, and I know some guys might get upset about this, but it's real. Non-confrontational. When you're dealing with a person who is completely 100% non-confrontational, the problem you're going to run into is that he's probably going to have issues in the relationship, but he's not going to talk to you about those issues. Some of you probably already run into this before. He's not going to talk to you about those issues. He's going to step out and cheat on you, and that's going to be his way of communicating, because a lot of those guys are really passive-aggressive. They got issues, problems, they're angry about certain things, but they're not going to talk to you about it. They're just going to find another girl and try to find a way to supplement whatever it is they have in a relationship rather than get you to work together with them. So when you're dealing with somebody who's non-confrontational, that's something you got to watch out for because you never really know where they stand. The number 2 sign that your man would cheat. No rigid moral code. That's a big one. A lot of times you got a guy who doesn't really have a rigid moral code. That means that he's willing to do anything. And a lot of times, those are the guys you might gravitate to because they're more likely to forgive anything. You're more likely to forgive people when you don't really have a moral code of your own, especially when you kind of break your moral code and go back and forth. Like even if you're religious, if you sin all the time, you're a lot more likely to be willing to, or if you break the rules of your particular religion, you're a lot more likely to be cool and okay with somebody else who breaks the rules of the religion because, I mean, it's kind of one of those, who am I to judge things? If you're a person who has a rigid moral code, it may not be a religious one, it may not be one that anyone else can understand but you. But if you have a rigid moral code, you kind of get really upset at other people when they don't follow the rigid moral code that they have or that you think they should have. So a lot of times ladies will choose a guy who's got a more relaxed moral code, and that's going to be the guy that's going to be the cheater. Because he's going to be more likely to take you in and accept your past, accept everything you've ever done, accept the things you do in the future. Whereas a guy with a rigid moral code is a lot more likely to drop you. Unfortunately, people generally that don't have rigid moral codes forgive a lot because they mess up a lot also. And they don't really stick to what they say they're going to do. So it's kind of rough. Number 3 sign that your man will cheat. No sexual experience or life experience. I know it's going to sound crazy to a lot of people. But with a lot of guys, when they settle down with somebody, they feel like they're going to miss out on everything they didn't get to do. And when a guy doesn't have a lot of life experience and doesn't have a lot of sexual experience, a lot of times he thinks that there's going to be something so much better and so much greater out there for him once he finds somebody. It's easy for a guy to say, oh, I would never cheat when he's never really had a serious girlfriend. It's easy for a guy to say, oh, I would never cheat when the longest he's ever been with somebody for has been 6 months. It's easy for a guy to say, I would never cheat when he's only had sex with one girl before, and that was difficult for him to do. Well, he doesn't really know because it's not like he had the opportunity. But when you get yourself in a situation where you start coming into your own and you start being able to get more girls and stuff like that, if you don't have a lot of experience with women, then you're going to start feeling like, well, there's more out there for me. A lot of times, this is how guys are going to feel. There's a lot more out there for me. I can get more. I can do better. Those types of things. So when you're dealing with that kind of a situation, then a lot of times the guy's going to be more likely to want to change his mind about being with you and being in a relationship because he might think he can do better. you got to remember, a lot of guys who got experience understand the fact that if I go out here and be single again, being single is really whack and not as good as I would, not as good as one would think. Going out here, even if I got a different girl every night, that's really not super happy and fun. It's only cool for like a week and then it sucks. So a guy who didn't have that experience wouldn't know that. So that's something to look for. Number 4 sign that your man would cheat. Doesn't really seem to want to commit. A lot of times you pressure a dude into commitment because you want that from him, but that's not something that he wants. Basically, that's a red flag that he's probably not finished being out there in the streets, having sex, doing whatever it is he's doing. So when you guys get together, he's going to probably feel trapped, and most likely he's going to go try to get out with somebody else, because that's the reason why he didn't really want to commit, because he wasn't sure about being committed to anyone, or he just wasn't being sure about being committed to you, and that's going to show. So whenever you kind of put some pressure on a guy to do something that he doesn't really want to do, or a guy doesn't really want to make that commitment, that's a sign that he's probably going to be the type of guy who's going to cheat on you, just because of the fact that he doesn't really want to be there in the first place. And cheating for a lot of guys is an exit, because they know you're going to catch them, and you're probably going to dump them, and that's a way for them to get out, or at least they get to be out for a little while. So something you got to watch out for. And number 5, the number 5 reason why a guy to know that your man, or sign that you know your man will cheat. Unfinished business with their ex. I talked about this in another video about women cheating. This is going to be a big one for either person. If you got somebody who's got unfinished business with their ex, a lot of times they don't even feel like they're cheating on you. They feel like that's a continuation of the relationship that they're really in, because they're still with their ex in their mind. We're calling it the ex, but to them, that's the girlfriend or boyfriend that they're on a break with. So if they got unfinished business with the ex, the chance of them cheating on you has just grown astronomically, because they're going to see it as more so, I'm really with this person and I'm not cheating on you because we can't be together because I'm always going to be with my ex. So if they got unfinished business there, that's something you really need to look out for, because that's going to be a cause, a constant reminder of that person. There's going to be a constant tension between the two of y'all, and it could be something that's going to cause them to go back and deal with that person again and not even feel like they're doing you wrong. Hopefully I was able to help you out. Once again, it's your man Chaz Ellis. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also go to the askchazzellisproject.com, get a consultation, quick question, or just make a donation to help us out. And make sure you check out that live stream. It's coming on next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to tell you when to let go, when to move on. Make sure you're checking that one out. Once again, it's your man Chaz Ellis. Make sure you share this video with somebody else. Peace.